This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Baker's, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Baker's worth it every time. Baker's, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
This is the TJ Show. So funny. I think about my high school friends and the things that we used to talk about when we were kids. And it was the latest video games, who we're going to be in Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And now, as adults, the conversations are way different.
Well, that's good. You guys have evolved and grown.
Well, I don't know if it's good. I kind of miss the Smash Brothers days because my buddy Matt is apparently warring with his trash collectors. And he sent me this message, and I asked him if I could play this. Tell me who you think is right here, my friend Matt or the trash collectors?
All right.
So Lisa and I have been doing a lot of work in our backyard. We dig it up. You know, there's a ton of leftover dirt that we needed to get rid of. And where I live, we need to put dirt, leaf waste, anything like that in these leaf paper bags.
How annoying is that, by the way? You know, if you've got extra dirt, can't you just, sprinkle that somewhere in your yard?
Why can't I just go back to earth? Just let it be.
Yeah, you got to bag it up. What are they doing with the bags? Are they throwing it somewhere?
No, they're recycling it. It's a big business, actually. My sister-in-law's stepfather owned a soil recycling business. He sold it for millions of dollars a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Oh, well, why doesn't Matt drop it off in my house?
That's crazy.
I'll take some bags of dirt.
So I did that, and I put out 20 bags of dirt. And the rule is they can't exceed 50 pounds, so I made sure that all of them were, as close to that as possible, but didn't exceed it. And I put them out there, and they take all the garbage, but left these paper bags full of dirt.
Yeah, see, that's happened to me a couple times.
That's frustrating.
I love my trash collectors. I say hi to them, but every once in a while I'll throw a box that's maybe a little bigger than usual, and they leave it there. And I'm like, oh, great, what do I do with this box now?
Come on now.
So I had to bring them all back into my garage. And
see, I would just leave them on the curb. He has
Me
to
too.
move them all into the garage.
I would put a note on it that says, take this. Seriously.
He's tried everything, J-Bo. So now the next weekend, he's got them all in his garage. He has to bring them back out to the curb.
Dragged 20 contractor bags back out to my curb. So I heard the trash truck coming. I looked out the window to watch. They tried to pick up one bag and dropped it and said, basically not happening.
No, man. They need to hit the gym. Hit the gym. You know what I would do at this point? I would put a tag on those bags, $5. I feel like a lot of places, nurseries and warehouses, they sell dirt all the time. They sell soil. If it's my dirt, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to put it in those bags and I'm going to sell it.
Yeah, okay, that's an idea.
$5.
Right. Let other people pick it up.
Yeah.
And I walked outside and I tried to talk to them. And I said, guys, what's the deal? I left this out last week. You wouldn't take it. What's going on? The trash collector told me that they won't allow them to take bags that are too heavy. They don't want them to get hurt.
Now he's going to have to fill up the dirt into little tiny sandwich bags.
Oh.
So he's like, I'm sorry, we can't do it. So I said, what? Can I do it? Can I throw these bags in the back of your trash truck? He said, yeah, sure, go for it. This man lights up a cigarette as I'm struggling at 8:30 in the morning to pick up 20 of these heavy bags, but not that heavy. I pick them up, I throw 20 bags in there. All the while, the corner where my house is also the neighborhood school bus stop. And there's 10 6-year-olds and at least one parent there just staring at me.
He's loading up the trash truck. I love it.
Doing this, what is this guy doing? And one of the little 6-year-olds, after each bag, what are you doing, Matt? What are you doing, Matt? Luckily, it's all in the trash truck now, away from my house.
Hey, so we got the job done, right? You got to do what you got to do. You get the dirt in the truck. That's what you get for throwing away dirt. You got to load it up yourself. The 96th Scripps National Spelling Bee started yesterday. This is something that won't go away. People love their spelling bees.
Oh, yeah.
They're fun. Quick, spell elephant, Kenny.
ELEPHANT.
Did you really just use an F in
It
elephant?
was like, I don't know.
Wow.
Hard F.
It is confusing.
Elephant.
It's probably one of the most confusing animals to spell. Well, let's see, giraffe. Spell it. And you got to say the word first.
Giraffe. GIRAFFE.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good job.
That one's a little tricky.
I don't know if he'd put the PH in there.
Yeah.
After what he did with
A little
elephant.
switch up.
Just
I
now.
felt the pressure, and I tell you, I don't envy these kids. That's a lot of pressure on them.
Okay, possum.
Possum.
That one's hard.
POSSUM. Possum.
Good job. Okay, so pretty good. I'm shocked by elephant. Can you save that and archive it so we never lose it? Thank you, producer Heather.
You spell pachyderm.
Pachyderm.
Yeah, that's an elephant. That's a fancy word for elephant.
You're not going to get me on that one. I didn't join a spelling bee. Kenny hit the streets.
Did you know the National Spelling Bee is going on right now?
I did not know.
Do you have any words that you constantly struggle with to this day?
Oh, there was one earlier today. The word restaurant. I always mix up my A's in that one.
Oh, yeah, you got to sound that out before you say it. Restaurant.
Even then, I misspell it.
Do you want to give it a try?
REST.
Come on.
A.
Yeah, come on.
Hold on.
You could do this.
I'm just trying to sound it
Take
out
your
of my
time.
head.
I know you're in a rush, but
RESTARAUNT.
See, with restaurant, you got to remember it like it's a phone number. You know, like I know my friend from Lou. I know his number from childhood. It stayed the same. And even if you don't know why it's spelled a certain way, you just got to go with it. It's one of those words.
I struggle with that one, too.
What's his number?
Two. No, I'm just kidding.
I know that one's wrong, but
do you have any words that you still have trouble spelling?
How about hippopotamus?
Ooh, that's a good one. There's a lot
How
of
to spell that?
there's a lot of P's in hippopotamus.
Yeah, I remember the scene from Big Daddy where Rob Schneider goes hip-hop-anonymous.
Yeah.
I think if you actually go that way, it helps you spell it correctly.
Sure, everyone's got their method.
That's tough. I think that's tough for anybody.
A hippopotamus, let me see. HIPPOPONAMOUS. I know I'm wrong.
Curious to know if you have any specific words that you struggle with constantly.
Well, honestly, at this point, I've just become so reliant on autocorrect that I don't even know when I'm misspelling things.
How about
Yeah, do we need to know how to spell words anymore? That's a great debate.
apparently?
Oh, no. APPARENTLY.
Wait, that's correct, isn't it?
Yep, you got it.
No way.
A lot of people go RANTLY.
I don't even remember what I said. I went into a spelling trance.
Well done, man.
Hey, thanks.
How about the word 12th, as in 11th, 12th, 13th?
I may get this one wrong, but I'm going to try it. TWELVE.
Well, that's how you spell 12, but what about 12th?
12th?
Like if you came in 12th place in the Olympics.
Ooh. 12th place. TWELFTH?
That's correct.
How did I get that right?
I'm happy I stopped you, buddy.
Wow, that's crazy.
All I know is that if you come in 12th place in the Olympics, you lost.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
no need to spell that out.
This-
LOST, lost.
This is the TJ Show, and happy spelling bee season. If you were listening yesterday at this time, Jabo was getting some interesting information in the midst of her relationship. There's been something that your husband's been doing for a while, and it's kind of bothered you, and you confronted him on it.
Right.
And his answer was very interesting.
Yeah.
And if you missed that, I highly encourage you, if you're in any kind of a relationship, to listen to that. It's on yesterday's podcast at thetjshow.com, or you can search for The TJ Show on any major podcasting platform. I love that you're so willing to talk about stuff that bothers you with the person who you care about the most. I mean, we should all be doing that, right?
Yeah, especially if we plan to be together forever.
Yeah.
We should probably talk about things.
And you actually felt better about what bothered you after you
did.
talked to him about
I
it. So
did.
it was really great. You can hear that at thetjshow.com. But anyway, on a completely separate note, you made a reference to something during that conversation.
Right.
And if you missed it, here's what Jabo said.
More so like the saying, don't count your chickens before it's hatched.
I think it's don't count your eggs before it's hatched.
Yeah, what you said.
So you corrected him.
I did.
But then you found out shortly after the segment, people told you that you were wrong.
Correct.
And you realized
I was
that
incorrect.
that's not how the saying is said.
Yeah.
And so, I got to give you credit. You call Archie and you get him on voice text or what do they call that?
We do a Marco Polo.
Marco
so it's
Polo.
A video chat.
Yep. And you tell him, hey, I was wrong. How many fights and arguments would end immediately after those 3 words are spoken? I was wrong.
Those are hard to say. Sometimes I just say, you were correct.
Yeah. But think about it. So I know this is sort of not a big deal, right? You're just in passing having this conversation, but I think the greater lesson here is very valuable. And so you reached out to Archie, and here's what he had to say.
Hey, babe. So you probably remember I said, actually, it's don't count your eggs before they're hatched. You remember that?
Yes, I do remember that.
I wonder if he's like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Revving up, you know?
Uh-huh.
So I was informed by my friends that me correcting you, saying that don't count your eggs before they hatch, was incorrect. And that you saying don't count your chickens before they hatch is actually...
Now, why are you speaking in slow motion? Are you delaying the response?
Because it's hard to admit that you are incorrect.
Correct. I feel like a part of you knew that you were right, that what you said was correct, but you kind of just went along with it. How do you manage to not rub it in my face that I was incorrect and you were right?
And now here's the great response.
Whenever you're in those situations where someone is very confident about what they're telling you, even though it's wrong, you let them sit with your confidence. You let them sit with it because it's not your place to take it away from you. So that's what I do. It's not my place to take the confidence away. If you're very confident about 1 + 1 = 4, then I would be like, okay, let's roll with that. Until we're in a situation where it affects us together, or, it's a situation where you need to be corrected. But if there's not a situation, then 1 + 1 = 4.
Oh, well, that's champion behavior right there.
It really is. I think, and when I was listening to him say that, it's the mindset of like, does this really matter? Like, at the end of the day, does it matter? Like, you have to correct one small detail. Does it really matter to the story? You have to, correct one small saying. Does it matter to what the point you're trying to make? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and there he is victorious anyway. Not that this is a competition, but he handled that like a champion. I love it.
He did.
You know what I always say? Don't put all your chickens in one basket.
Yes, I've heard of that one too.
Because they won't fit. They really won't.
Right. This is the TJ Show.
Hi, everybody. This is Adriana Trajani. I'm the host of You Are What You Read, a podcast about the books that built our souls. I have the privilege of interviewing luminaries of our times about the books that shaped them from childhood until now. Don't miss it. We get everybody from Sarah Jessica Parker to Kristen Hanna to Jhumpa Lahiri, Susie Essman, Rainn Wilson, Amor Tolls. You name it, they come, they talk, they share. You can join us on Instagram for more behind-the-scenes content and giveaways at You Are What You Read Podcast and at Adriana Trajani. New episodes of You Are What You Read drop every Tuesday on Apple, Spotify, or any major streaming platform wherever you listen to your podcasts.
I'm Erica, 1/3 of the podcast Books and Betches, a comedy book podcast where we swear, spoil, and we talk about...
Whoa, you cannot say that in this.
What do you mean? That's like our slogan. It's our gimmick.
It is, but just say we're a very funny adult book podcast. How about we just give some examples of things we talk about?
Well, there's a lot of chaos.
I'm Kristen, and with me I have...
No. We talk about books, but we're not your AP Lit class.
I definitely hit on the major points. You absolutely did not.
She did.
You talked
just
about...
not in the order you thought she would.
You talked so slowly about one thing.
A lot of sidebar conversations.
Are you denying the existence of chupacabras?
You know, Erica, yes, I am.
And we don't always get the facts right.
Epilogues don't belong in books. Call it chapter 1.
That's a prologue.
The second I see...
That's a prologue.
Oh, I'm talking about prologues.
You can listen to new episodes of the Books and Betches podcast every Tuesday morning, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Bye-bye.
This is the TJ Show. J-Bo.
What's up, TJ?
I was approached before the show today by producer Kenny, and he said, are we celebrating today? And I said, celebrating what? And you went on to tell me it's National Paperclip Day.
That is right. It's a big day.
we have discovered some of the fringiest of the fringe holidays. These don't get printed on the major calendars.
Yeah, I wonder why.
But we know about it, and the more I thought about it, yeah, of course we should be celebrating the paperclip.
Paperclip is awesome.
Who doesn't love paperclips?
Yeah.
And so, absolutely, Kenny, I see you. Why don't we start by giving us the history of the paperclip, how it started? I don't even know, and I use them all the time. I feel ashamed.
Yeah, well, according to my research, the first patent for a paperclip, a bent wire paperclip, was awarded to Samuel B. Fay in 1867 in the United States.
Oh, that was Fay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the homie down the street.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, initially, it was used to clip tickets to cloth or clothes, but then it quickly became realized, we can just clip pieces of paper together for this. And now there are 50 different patents for paper clips in the United States.
Is that because they were the ones that are rounded, and then some are square looking, some have the two sides?
Some have little designs like stars or dogs or
That's right.
Well, I think the one we're most familiar with is known as the gem clip, which was developed in England also in the late 1800s, and it was mass produced by the early 1870s, although it wasn't trademarked until the early 1900s.
You know which one I'm familiar with? When I was in school, I used Word doc a lot, and the paperclip would show up every once in a while in the right-hand corner
Oh,
to
yeah.
give me a couple edit suggestions. I love that bad boy.
Wasn't his name Clippy?
I don't know.
It's a great name for
I called him My Boy Clip because he helped me with my papers. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
There's a little bit of controversy in Norway.
Wait, over the paperclip?
Over the paperclip. There's a guy, Johan Valler, who designed a steel wire paperclip. He didn't know about the gem paperclip and the other paperclips being produced elsewhere.
Sure he didn't.
People in Norway believe that they are the birthplace of the paperclip, and Johan Valler is the inventor of the paperclip.
Wow.
Everybody needs a hero, you know?
And everyone needs a controversy.
Yeah.
Well, such a deep history with the paperclip. Thank you for sharing all that,
Yeah.
Kenny. I have a list here of all the uses for paperclips. I mean, normally we wouldn't talk about it, but since it's National Paperclip Day, this is the time to address it.
Go ahead and give me that list.
All right, let's start here. Now, they claim you can use a paperclip for a smartphone stand. You just bend it. I don't think that would actually hold up. That's somebody getting a little too lovey-dovey with their
Have you seen the
paperclip.
smartphones now? They're massive.
Right.
I think you can do it
I
with
can
the right
hold that.
bending.
Hanging Christmas ornaments. Yeah, I agree with that. Unclogging small holes like salt and pepper shakers, spray bottles. That's a good one.
Okay.
Pin to remove the SIM card from your phone.
Yep.
A broken zipper. Oh, yeah, I've done that.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
put it on there. Looks a little weird, but, if you rock it.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
You know how to
Looks
do
good
it.
on you.
A
Better
letter,
than having your fly down.
Yep.
True. Letter opener. Emergency toothpick. I'm not a fan of that. You don't want to be putting random
That's
things
dangerous.
in your mouth. A money clip. I've definitely used it for that. A mini brush cleaner. They say wrap the end with a tissue. I don't know what you're cleaning. Maybe a mouse's house.
No, a keyboard, like a computer keyboard. It's the perfect size to clean the crevices of your computer keyboard.
Okay. Another one. A bookmark. Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, that one for sure.
That's good. A hair clip. A fingernail cleaner. That's kind of gross.
Yeah, I've definitely done that.
Some ideas from Reddit. Removing the ignition cylinder from a 1964 Corvair. Okay, I think we
I
can
have one
stop
of those
there.
in my garage.
Yeah, you do? Okay,
Yeah,
well, now
yeah.
you know.
Really nice.
This
And
is the TJ Show. Happy National Paperclip Day. I had such a trippy conversation with a friend of mine. I had to bring it up to you guys because I had never thought about this before.
Uh-oh. Let's go.
Do you think it's possible that there was some version of humanity on this earth that was more technologically advanced than we are now, but the technology has been lost? Like there was actually a smarter, more advanced group of people that lived longer than us, and then either, the technology was flooded and washed away. And I thought, well, why do you think that? And he said, well, imagine if you, there was some disaster, right? And all of our iPhones fell into the ground. And then thousands of years later, you found that same iPhone. What would it look like? A rock. It would just be like a rock.
Just a random thing.
And so now I'm walking around. I'm like, well, what's that rock right there? Is that like an old computer from? I thought it was kind of freaky, but the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. How do we know? And then I went into this deep dive, and I started Googling stuff, and there were all these inventions, and I'm going to read you this list in a little while. It's coming up. There are these technologies that scientists still can't figure out today that were from thousands of years ago that we know exist, and we can't figure out how it was done, and it's really fascinating. I don't want to freak you out.
No,
I know this is like, what do you think? Josh is nodding his head yes over there.
Thought.
Camera guy Josh, Mr. Technology, Mr. I like Windows and Mac.
Apple.
Yeah.
Correct that man.
What are you thinking about this?
Oh yeah, I think it's possible.
You do?
Yeah.
Why?
I think so.
Why?
I don't know. I've heard those theories before, and I think there could have been a time where we were a little smarter and came up with some different things than we have.
I can't be ignorant to think that we created that the technology we have has never been created before, or another form of technology has never been used before.
Yeah.
That'd be very arrogant of me as a human being to think like we were the ones to do it all.
Yeah, I know. Heather, you look freaked out. Come on, come closer. I want to hear what you have to say. I like what you like these kinds of conversations. Something tells me you have these way more than any of us.
I honestly never. I don't think about those kinds of things. I just kind of live now in the moment.
Right now,
you know what I mean,
bruh.
bro? I don't think about the past or the future.
You're not curious?
Like, not at all.
Really?
Oh yeah, no, I'm curious.
What about you, Kenny? I see you with an uncomfortable smirk on your face.
Yeah, I'm not sure I buy it, but I mean, it's great stories, Atlantis and, Thor and Norse mythology. I don't know. I think they're stories.
All right, that's Kenny's take.
But they're fun to think about.
I bet if we were on a
Naked
Friday
superhero
night
movies.
at about 7 p.m., it'd be a much different take.
Different conversation. Very different. He would lead the conversation, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, what kind of stuff do you bring up on a Friday night at 7 p.m.?
Sports?
Nah, I don't know about that.
Well, listen, so I have this list of these baffling technologies that we still can't figure out today. There are scientists who have been scratching their head over this stuff for thousands of years. You ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready.
So I had never heard that Damascus steel is known for its distinctive patterns and exceptional strength and sharpness. It was used to make blades in the Middle East from around 900 AD to 1750 AD, and the technology apparently has been lost. The original process is still a mystery. They can't figure out how they made it this strong. Scientists are still trying to recreate it. So that's pretty recent history.
Yeah.
The Antikythera mechanism? Did you ever hear of an ancient Greek analog computer that was discovered in a shipwreck off the coast of a Greek island dating back to around 100 BC? Now, did you hear what I said? A computer.
Yeah, 100 BC.
100 BC. It was used to predict astronomical positions and eclipses. The mystery here, the complexity of the computer suggests a level of technological sophistication not previously attributed to Greece or really anywhere. The full extent of its capabilities still being studied today. They don't understand it.
It's aliens, man.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. Or maybe it's humans who were that intelligent.
Well, it was a ship, right?
Yeah.
There's Egyptian pyramids. The construction of the Great Pyramids of Giza, with their precise alignments and massive stone blocks, continues to intrigue historians and engineers. The exact methods used to transport and assemble the giant stone blocks remain debated. They don't have any definitive answers.
Mm-hmm.
How did they do it?
Yeah, I've heard that one. Yeah.
And then this one, Greek fire. Have you ever heard of Greek fire?
No.
A highly flammable weapon, almost used like a flamethrower. Greek fire could continue burning even on water. The composition and the method of how they did it have been lost to history. They don't know how it was done.
Get out. Still burning on water.
And they haven't been able to recreate it accurately today. So, and this is pretty recent stuff, I guess, right? They at least know about it.
They did recreate that one on Game of Thrones.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, Wildfire.
Whatever. No.
All right, so there you go. I guess someone's figuring it out. And then the last one on here, the Incan stone masonry. Apparently, the Incas built structures with precisely cut stones that fit together without mortar, capable of withstanding earthquakes. The techniques used for cutting and fitting these stones so precisely still not fully understood, and modern attempts to replicate them have not been entirely successful.
Maybe the techniques that the Inca used are also the techniques that the Egyptians used for the pyramids.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Jabo, so much mystery in this world. Isn't it fun?
I mean, I love answers, but I like the fact that there's that information out there that we weren't the first to create all this technology.
Yeah, so in closing, who knows about any of this? I guess none of us will know, at least for now.
You convinced me, man. You're definitely onto something here,
All
bro.
right. Cool, man. This is the TJ Show.
Ever notice that how you feel affects your food choices, and that what you eat affects how you feel throughout the day? Well, researchers noticed it too, and now there's cutting-edge science about how food affects our emotional well-being. I'm food and science journalist Mary Beth Albright, and in my weekly podcast, Eat, You'll Feel Better, I look at practical, realistic ways to put the science of eating for emotional well-being into action. And, this is important, without lapsing into negative diet culture messages that can really ruin anyone's emotional well-being. We talk about things like how the food in your gut sends messages directly to your brain. And we also celebrate something that I personally find often missing from food health news, and that's leaning into pleasure. Because food is delicious, and it's not just about what we eat. Emotional well-being is also about how we eat. So join me every week on Eat, You'll Feel Better, where we use science to improve mood through food.
This is the TJ Show, our news. It sounds different around here. Kenny reads through every story he can find, and then he brings us the most interesting ones. Kenny, what's happening on the planet today?
Last week, we reported on a town in Japan that erected a large black mesh screen to block tourist views of Mount Fuji. The area had been dealing with overcrowding of streets and sidewalks due to tourists stopping to take pictures. And now, less than a week after this thing was erected, we're learning that the tourists have began poking camera lens-size holes in the black screen so they can get their pictures.
That is funny and also very frustrating if you're the person that put up the screen.
Yeah, and it is also really sad that they're blocking this gorgeous view.
Yeah, but like imagine if you needed to, if there was an emergency and there was overcrowding in the streets, you know, so this has become a serious problem for this neighborhood. And there are other places, acceptable places to go see the view of this. And from what I understand in this town, it's really kind of a novelty because the view from this particular sidewalks, it makes it look like the roof of this convenience store is the top of Mount Fuji.
Yeah, see, it's cute. You want to take a picture of that?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So it seems the first holes were poked almost immediately after the screen went up, and as of yesterday, the officials counted 10 holes, all at eye level, all the perfect size to fit a camera lens.
Isn't it amazing? Like, you can't just agree on one hole. You've got to do 10. Well, this angle's a little bit better.
They may want to put up a new screen and then just put one hole and say, this is for your camera lens. So this people just take turns putting their camera lens in there.
Yeah, or do one screen that you can poke, and then there's another one like 10 feet off that will block it anyway. I don't know. Candy, what else do you have?
Sandra Glenn is a 64-year-old woman from England. She suffers from osteoarthritis. She recently went to a Coldplay concert, and she was walking her way to the accessibility box office, but she was really struggling and took a break, rested against a fence, and mulled the idea of turning back. This isn't worth it. It's too difficult. Lo and behold, a black Mercedes-Benz pulls up next to her, and who's inside but the lead singer of Coldplay, Chris Martin.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he noticed that she was struggling and offered her a ride. Right up to the front, got her in, escorted her. She was just completely blown away. She said, I looked at him and said to the woman in the passenger seat, I can't get in, that's Chris Martin. But Chris, quote, ever the gentleman encouraged her to hop in, saying, yes, you can, just come on in. They did take a picture for a selfie that Sandra posted on social media. That moment when Chris Martin at Coldplay saw me struggling to walk, had his car stop and give me a lift. Blooming amazing. Can't believe this happened, she wrote in her post. He's shown that kindness rules the world.
Isn't that so
fun? That is
fun?
super cool.
Yeah, when you're a big fan of an artist and you just realize they're so kind like that.
Yeah.
I get that feeling from Chris Martin. He seems like a guy who just fell in love with music and the art, and then has carried that into his extreme success that he's had, which I think is so cool. And he hasn't let go of those roots of just caring about the music, serving the fans.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Caring about the people. That's awesome.
Yeah, it does seem very down to earth.
Kenny, what else do you have?
There was a recent YouGov survey asking Americans to identify which decade had the best and worst music, movies, economy. They asked about 20 different factors. Do you have any opinion, like music, movie, pop culture? What decade was the best?
I mean, it's subjective. I guess it depends when you grew up. There's certain things that I loved watching when I was a kid that I know my kids don't like. I like the Ninja Turtles. Thought it was great. Brilliant.
Your kids don't like the Ninja Turtles?
No. You got these 4 turtles that are rescuers of the community. They live with a rat king.
No, they need time. They need time to watch it, to like it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but that would be an example where that's just not, I mean, how do you make an assessment on that?
Well, TJ, you are on the money because they found there was no consistent pattern to the findings except the age of the respondents. Generally, the people who responded that said the best decade was when they were a kid. And it kind of changed depending on what they were asking. So respondents tended to say the decade with the best economy, movies, and TV was when they were 12 to 15 years old. The decade with the best fashion, music, and sports was when they were 16 to 19 years old. And meanwhile, the decade with the most close-knit communities was when Americans were 4 to 7 years old.
Huh, how about that? Yeah, who were you hanging out with when you were 4 to 7?
I don't even remember.
Yeah, I was playing, I think they called it, what's that game called when you go out in the middle of the night?
Manhunt?
Yeah, yeah. And
yeah.
you're running around town. We used to use the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
We get the coolest hiding spots.
I remember that.
One of my friend's dads had this wood pile in his backyard, and you could crawl in there, and it was like the best spot.
Oh, that's the best hiding spot.
There was a raccoon in there one time, and no one ever hid there again until my friend's older brother was willing to risk it. And we're like, no, he wouldn't be in there, and he was in there. It was awesome, but that was 4 to 7.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, so Americans can't agree on what the best decade was, but we can all agree we're all nostalgic, it appears.
Yeah, I just had great memories. Couldn't
You're
believe
smiling.
he did it.
TJ's smiling ear to ear as he's talking about Manhunt.
Yeah. Kenny, what else is happening in the world?
The New York Post is reporting on new research that suggests that the more time you spend on social media and the more emotionally connected you are to your presence, is the more likely you may toss and turn at night because of social media related nightmares.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
I don't have those. I don't remember the last time I dreamed, which means I probably haven't had a deep sleep in a long time.
Yeah, the nightmares happen to me just while I'm on social media. Like they're actually right there for you to see. You don't have to dream them up.
Well, I don't remember ever having a social media related nightmare, but there was a period of time around when The Queen's Gambit came out on Netflix where I became obsessed with chess, and I would wake up in the middle of the night thinking I was playing in this ridiculous chess game. So the experts said as social media becomes increasingly intertwined with our lives, its impact extends beyond waking hours and may influence our dreams.
Yeah, I read some study recently where there are a number of people who sleep with their phone in their hand. I mean, that's the reality now. It's really
my
becoming...
nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's serious.
Well, scrolling social media before bed, although increasingly a more common practice, is definitely not recommended by these experts. And they found that there wasn't a large population of people surveyed who experienced these social related nightmares, but those who did use it excessively and were very much emotionally connected to it, they did find a strong correlation there.
My nieces and nephews, they've fallen asleep with their phones in their hand, but I've done that too.
Yeah.
When I'm like scrolling, I'm watching something on YouTube, and I'm like, no, I can do 20 more minutes. And I wake up and it's still scrolling and rolling to the next video.
Unbelievable. Kenny, what else do you have?
Residents of an English town in Norfolk are complaining about a noisy group of feral chickens.
I don't know that I would mind feral chickens, because ideally they would just go have eggs, and then I would find them, and I wouldn't have to take care of them, but they'd be supplying eggs to our family.
Every day would be an Easter egg hunt.
Yeah,
Every day. You're
right.
like, oh, where do they go now? Yeah.
Yeah, like I see, we've got geese near our neighborhood, and every once in a while they'll have eggs. And if I was a fan of goose eggs, I probably wouldn't have a problem sneaking in there and taking a few. Now, you got to be ready to fight, and you got to be ready to take on a goose, which is not easy. So I've never even dared to go near that.
They'll get you.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation.
Well, yeah, and it's like dividing this community up because some neighbors are complaining that these birds are digging up their gardens, they're eating their vegetables, they're so loud that you have to wear earplugs at night. But other residents say that these chickens have been around for 100 years. They're a part of the community. We love the chickens.
There are a lot of places in the U.S., Key West being one of them, Oviedo, Florida being another, where roosters just roam around, and chickens and roosters roam around, and they're protected by the city.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked a chicken right in the eyes?
I'm sure I've tried.
You got to try it. It's really, because they're so goofy looking. and they're just living their chicken life, and they don't care that you're staring at them. It's
Do
really
their
cool.
eyes wander and everything?
It's just funny. I don't know. If you're ever in a bad mood, look a chicken in the eyes, and it'll make your whole day.
All right.
Well, apparently these parish council meetings are getting quite exciting with people for and against the chickens arguing. The council is saying that they're going to bring on an expert to determine what the best plan of action is, and they say only after we have all the information will the parish council decide if it needs to make any kind of decision, if at all.
I'm excited for the protest signs using cluck in different ways, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Kenny, thank you for keeping us somewhat informed.
That's what's happening.